Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Luvafoodie LinkedIn Live. I'm Michelle Mazzara. I'm the host of the show, and I'm very excited today to have a very special inventor, an innovative woman entrepreneur, Lisa Farmer. Welcome to Luvafoodie LinkedIn Live.
Thank you so much for having me. I am going to have a good time with this.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I've been talking about you to all my friends and family for the last week. I said, I've had other entrepreneurs on, men and women, but I feel like you're my first real inventor. So I'm pretty excited. So Lisa, you were, for those of the people that are tuning in, you were very lucky and I'm sure you felt honored and special. You got to be on a new national TV show this year, America's Biggest Deal, with your invention.
I did.
So
Absolutely. Out
I
of
want to,
thousands of people, only 40 of us were chosen.
wow, I want to hear about that. But first, I want to hear about what you actually created, your actual invention. And Lisa was nice enough to send me a colander, and my kitchen has red in it, and so this is the one I got. But Lisa, tell us all what you invented, and then we'll get into the actual show. But I want to know what you invented.
Okay. Years ago, I was in my kitchen, which is where I stay a lot, actually. I really do love to cook. So I was in my kitchen and I had a traditional colander and I had some pasta in it. And after you leave pasta sitting for a couple of seconds, it gets a film over it, just a little film. So I went to invert the colander, and when I did, to put it over it back into the pot, what happened was it all clumped out at once. And when it did, I had flip flops on and it burned my feet. I got second and third degree burns. And so after the burn, my husband says, we've got to take you to the ER. I mean, it's looking pretty bad. You know, your feet are looking bad. So we're on our way to the ER, and I'm telling him, we really need to hurry up because, I have the perfect idea. I had the perfect idea. And in my mind, I already knew, okay, no more of that. So it just come to me that I didn't, because about 3 or 4 months prior to that, I had a pot of stew cooking on the stove. Of course, it was hot. And so I put all my vegetables in a colander, rinsed them like normal. And when I went to pour them over into what I already had cooking, some of the juices splashed out and it had actually burned my arm. I still wear the scar today. And so after the second incident, I thought, no more of this. There's a better way to do this. And so my husband, he's kind of laughing at me, but on the way back from the ER, I have him stop off and buy me about 6 colanders. So we go out in the shop, we start cutting them apart. And because I told him, there should be no reason anymore why we should have to turn over a colander, period. There's no reason when we could just put levers on the side with trapdoors on the bottom. And he's thinking, okay, this sounds crazy, but we're going to try it. Well, we tried it.
So how did you, is your husband a crafty man, or do you have what's it called, a tool area in your garage? I mean, how do you take a colander and just say, I'm going to create this?
He's a crafty guy, I'll tell you. He's very crafty. He does, we don't call maintenance companies for anything.
You don't have a handyman? No handyman?
He does everything. And so it was a crazy hillbilly prototype is what we call it. The original, we cut the doors and we had to use some, actually it was a Tupperware with the little lip, and that's how we made the tracks. And what made it open and close was automotive springs that he put on there. But I had to show function. I had to show myself that the vision in my mind was going to work. And so that version is actually the one that I sent in years ago to a large company, and I did license it for a short span of time. They loved it. So it's difficult. fault. But when you have somebody like him that has knowledge of how to, just exactly how to, because he has tools. Every tool you can imagine to cut anything, he has it. So we made our own prototype, and from there, it just turned into what it is today.
So Lisa, how many years ago was that?
Oh, 2012?
2012. Okay. And then did you decide, okay, it's going to be something I want? I mean, how did you decide I can sell this at retail or I can take this and sell it to customers? How did you make that jump?
I went ahead and filed for my patent. At that juncture is where I filed for my patent, when I knew that I had a product that was going to function well.
Okay.
So I went ahead and filed for my patent. And after we did that, I realized, because this company had such a huge interest in it, so I knew that I had something good. Out of several ideas, and don't get me wrong, this is not my first idea, it's not my last idea. So we knew, after getting just a little bit of feedback on it, that it was going to be a big hit. I mean, who takes a colander that your grandmother, your great grandmother, even prior to that, and completely just turns it upside down, basically? And that's what I had done. So I knew it was going to be a good product. And when I was in a licensing deal, but I opted to get out of that licensing deal and go into manufacturing on my own. But I did that several years ago. And during that process, my husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. So I kind of had to put a lot of things on the back burner for just a couple of years while we got him all straightened out. And then I started manufacturing the product myself.
So 2 questions for you. Why, as a solo entrepreneur, solo inventor, did you turn down that license deal with a large, I'm assuming, a houseware company, which
Yes.
probably would have paid you what, 3 to 5%?
Yes.
That's typical.
Yes.
For a license deal. I mean, I think I probably would have taken it.
I did.
Oh, you did take it?
I did.
I thought you said you turned it down.
No. After I was in that contract for a few years, I decided, because it was a 5-year contract. So after the 5 years, I decided I wanted to take it over on my own. No bad blood between me and that company. We are still, I still submit products to them. I still get along with, the gentleman that I submitted to in the get-go. He and I are very close friends. It was just a product that I always felt like needed to be demonstrated. It needs to be demonstrated, and it doesn't do as well, if you think about it, it doesn't do as well sitting on a store shelf beside several others if you don't really know what it does. You don't understand why you're paying. Well, here's one for $7, and this one's sitting there, and you're looking at it from the side view. You don't really understand why you're paying more money for this product. So I didn't think it was doing very well in retail, because it was in Bed Bath & Beyond, Walmart, several others. I can't even think of where all it was, but so it was in some large stores, but it just wasn't doing as well as I thought it should do, until it hit QVC for a short span of time, and it just sold like crazy. It was a top-rated seller the whole time. And at that point, I realized I don't need it to be so much in retail as I do DRTV, basically. It needs to be promoted. People need to see it. You need to see it function. And that's what would sell this product.
So that company can no longer sell your colander with the retractable doors. They can no longer sell trap doors. So when you licensed with them, was it your brand and their brand? Was it co-branded? Or did it say let's just say their name was Red Door. So did it just say Red Door colander? It didn't have your name on it at all, or your brand?
No, it said Farberware.
Oh, okay. I guess you can say they don't care if you say their name.
Yeah, they don't care.
Okay.
And
Okay.
actually, to be honest, they helped me. They helped with the design process. So I have huge gratitude to the company that I was licensed to. Uh, Huge, because they helped me go from hillbilly concept to what I have today. Now I've made a couple of changes when I started manufacturing, but all in all, they helped me create this product. So I have mad respect for that company.
That's very nice. I like that a lot. I really do. And I like that about that company. That's very
Mhm.
cool.
Yes.
So where do you have this manufactured? Is this made in the USA or is it made in another country?
For now, this is made in China. It is BPA free, dishwasher safe. But it is made in China for now. There are hopefully going to be some changes coming within the next few months where I can actually manufacture in the US, which is what I've always wanted to do. It's just that you have to find that balance where it's financially feasible for you to manufacture here. So I'm working with a gentleman now who has a manufacturing plant, and he and I are in talks of how to get this thing um, down to a cost where it'll still do well retail, but it won't cost me as much as what I was quoted before.
So right now, when you buy from China, are you, because I know a little bit about buying from China, do you have to buy like a container?
You do have to buy a container.
And
Uh,
so you have landed right now in the USA a whole DC of these?
I have two 20-foot containers here.
Wow. Of the three colors that you have.
Yes.
And do
Yes.
you have retail homes for all those? I mean, do you have distribution? And if so, where?
It is being sold right now on the grommet. I am also in talks, and I say in talks because there's nothing is set in stone. But I am trying to work out a deal again with QVC to get it on there, and then I have my website, which is trapdoorcolander.com.
So when you sell to QVC, you have to do drop shipping. So do you have the capability to ship to each customer individually?
Absolutely. We have a warehouse here. I am fully staffed at any point where we need to, because we're fully staffed. We have two companies here. So I have employees running around everywhere. And so if I need them to shift to shipping, that's what we do.
So because I know they expect, I think it's like $60,000 a minute, or is it $10,000 a minute? I was approached by them recently.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
quite a
it,
bit. You have to roll out quite a bit of product with them. And it did very well before. So I do believe it will do well again.
okay. Well, that's exciting. What about getting on like Amazon.com or Walmart.com or Fair or Mabel or some of these secondary retail online websites?
We are on Amazon, but I haven't really started my Amazon advertising or anything like that yet because I have a company that's working out a few of the quirks. Because when I started out, I was going to put it on Amazon myself, and I did. I got it started on there, but I felt like it needed more of the knowledge base of the SEO and Google algorithm and all that. And I don't have that much knowledge there. So I hired a company to help me get it exactly like it needs to be found, easily found. And so that's something they're working on. So I will be putting out ads on that probably starting next week.
Okay, because this would make a really nice Mother's Day gift,
It is.
right? I think
Yes.
it would be a fantastic Mother's Day gift. So have you gone on um, Range Me? Do you know what about Range Me?
I have. I've actually heard of them. I have not reached out to them yet, but it is something I plan to do. And there is another site. It's not hugely popular yet. It's called spousely.com, and it is for veterans and their families. If you have to be veteran affiliated before you can sell on the site. So it is also being set up on spousely.com.
Okay. RangeMe is actually a portal for vendors like you and I. It's not, so you know about that. It's for retailers and buyers to go in and view your products.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you knew that. I would recommend doing that because there's two ways of doing RangeMe. There's the pay part, you can pay for it, or you can not pay for it. You have to pay for it in order to get any traction.
Yes.
Otherwise, don't even waste your time doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you'll find out about submissions, and companies will contact you, and it's definitely something I would pursue.
Okay.
The other thing is, what about trade shows? There was just the Houseware show in Las Vegas. Have you attended any of the national trade shows?
I have been to the Houseware show in Chicago several times. It's been several years ago, and I missed it this year. Unfortunately, there was some stuff going on. I have a new granddaughter on the way, so we were afraid that we would head out and she would have the baby. So I missed it this year, and we had some other things going on. Of course, you know, with the loss of our animal. So we had a lot going on at that time, so I didn't get to make it, but I absolutely love trade shows.
Okay, good. So it sounds like you have some knowledge of the retail industry and what you need to do as a entrepreneur and to get it out there into the retail world. You're not.
Yes, and I have lots of great people on LinkedIn that are very successful, and they love the product. They love how hard I work at this, and so I have a lot of them that they give me a lot of help, a lot of guidance. So kudos to you guys. You're awesome. They have been amazing.
Well, I'm excited to try mine. Now, what is the retail price point? If I want to go to your website and buy one of these, what is it going to cost me, including shipping?
Right now on my website, which is thetrapgirlcolander.com, it is $29.95. It is the same on the grommet, and if you are the grommet on there, if you're a member of some sort, you get free shipping there as well. Now, Amazon, it will be the same. It will be $29.95, and that price is going to have to stay there for a bit until we can get those freight costs down. Because right now, freight costs are costing more than the product itself.
So does it cost $29.95 including shipping, or is there a shipping charge?
No, it's $29.95. That includes shipping on my site and on the grommet, as long as you are a member of the grommet.
Got it.
And Amazon, it will be the same, $29.95 free shipping.
Right. Got it. That seems like a fair price.
Yes.
And I know how much shipping costs. Shipping costs a lot. I mean, even for like a little spice tin, it costs a lot.
Yes, and especially now, freight and shipping are outrageous.
Right, absolutely. So I want to hear now. I got a little background. This is the first time we've spoken. This is all new for me too. I want to know, what was it like getting on America's Biggest Deal, and tell me about the whole process of applying. Take me from 1 to 10. 10 being that you're on stage.
Yeah, you're on stage. Big stage. I had a really good friend of mine. Big shout out, Tiffany Crummins, Ava the Elephant, Mom Genius. She's coming out with a new probiotic product. She's amazing. And she and I had been talking, and she reached out to me and said, listen, I want you to go on here, and I want you to apply for this new show that's coming up. And I was a little skeptical, and then I started reading. Of course, it had Joy Mangano, and then the Macy's buyer, and and it had the Lowe's buyer. I'm reading about it, and I'm thinking, hey, I can do this. So I applied, heard back from them fairly quickly. I didn't get in there. They put me on the veterans show. There weren't many veterans, so they put me on the veterans show, which was the 5th episode. And
So
so
everybody had to be a veteran to be on the show?
on that show, just Veterans Day, I did
Oh,
the Veterans Day special. So
nice.
on that day, they gathered the veterans that they had, and so or people that were veteran affiliated. So it was a great show. It really was.
So did they fly you? Where was it taped? Did they fly you to New York? Was it in California? I want
It
to know
was
everything.
it was in New Jersey, and I drove from Texas to New Jersey because I have a fear of flying.
Okay, so did they, for the people that they chose, did you have to get there on your own?
No,
That they were willing to fly you?
yes,
Okay, so you don't fly at all?
no.
Okay.
I'm going to have to fly, but as long as I can put it off, I put it off. Um, it's just, it's something I really never had a great interest in doing. And so we bought a motorhome just for reasons like this so that we can comfortably travel. And so that's what we do. We load up in our motorhome. Plus, we never like to leave our dogs behind. So I joked that we bought them a motorhome for their birthday, so we could keep them with us.
So
So
you get so you get there, and did you have to prepare like a pitch? And how long was your pitch? How many minutes?
well, it was 2.5 minutes, and it felt like 45 minutes when you're standing there. But yes, we prepared a pitch. I got on stage. I can still remember it to this day. I'll never forget that pitch because I walked that motor home for hours for 2 nights in a row, memorizing this pitch. So I am just traipsing from one end to the other of our motor home, and we finally nailed it. And I have anxiety. I have severe anxiety, which is a part of the reason why I don't fly. So for me, I thought, man, I am about to lose it right before I went on. And you didn't really have enough time to think because when they said 2 minutes, 1 minute, okay, here you go. And off on the stage you go. And you're out on the stage. And the gentleman, Scott Evans, who's one of the hosts of the show, he's absolutely amazing because you get out there, you're scared to death, you're nervous, you think and he is on the sideline, he is rooting for you, so we did the show and I did very well. I impressed myself, honestly.
So I've seen the show. When you did it, was it live or did they edit it? So you come out on stage, you do your
Live.
spiel. It was live, so it looks live when I've watched it, and it truly is live.
It is truly live.
And then, from what I understand, the person who there's two other contestants, so there's
There's
three
four.
people to there's four, okay, and each of you come out and you do your little sales pitch, your little spiel, and then is it based on the number of units sold that gets the deal?
Yes.
Is that how they award it? So even though somebody might have a bad pitch or it might not be as good as your pitch, if they sold more of that unit, that's the highest number of units sold is going to get the deal.
Yes.
So my question to you is, if your item's $29.95 and I have a $60 item, they're basing it by units or they couldn't base it by dollar amounts because that wouldn't be fair to the lower end.
Dollar amount.
So are you up against other $30 items? Because I also think it wouldn't be fair if you had a $30 item and there was a $60 item and a $100 item and a $200 item. Me as the consumer, I might only want to spend $30. So I might buy more of yours and less of the higher ring items.
Yes.
How do they quantify that so it's equal?
That is something that I am not sure of. I have really not really questioned it that much because really the exposure in itself for me, it was never truly about winning the show for me. It was more about the exposure. And I think the exposure was great. So I've questioned some of those things in my mind, but really with all the exposure that I got, and honestly, I don't really know if I should put out a dollar amount, but before the the day of my show, before it ended and I made it back to my motorhome, my sales were phenomenal. Crazy phenomenal.
Now, do you get the sales or does the show get the sales? Let's say there, I'm just going to make it easy. Say there were it was $1,000 in sales. Who gets that? Does the
Well,
show or you do?
well, we do. Of course, there is the fees that you have because they were shipping the product and stuff like that. So you have fees that come out of that, as well as, there's a few fees that do come out of that. But all in all, the inventor is supposed to get the larger sum of the money.
So did you have to have inventory on hand at a separate location that they were going to ship to each customer?
Yes.
And then how did you forecast? This is so out of this is the first time you're doing something live, TV. I know it's on cable. It was on cable. How do you come up with a number of units to be ready to be sold? And then what happens, like say if you had 30,000 units and you only sold 10,000, now you're stuck with 20,000 units extra.
Yeah, you got to pay to get them back.
So did they give you a forecast of how many units they thought how do you come up with the number?
In order to be on the show, you had to have a number of $30,000 in retail product. So that you had to have on hand. They had to have 30,000 in retail product.
Okay, so basically you had to have 10,000 units?
No.
300. You had to have.
I had to have like 1,600, I believe.
Okay. And did they give you time to manufacture that from the time you were say you didn't have it, you had it because you've got these containers from China, but let's say you didn't, did they give you time to manufacture that number? Or was it like, hey, you're going to be on the show in 2 weeks?
Hey, you're going to be on the show in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So,
Who won the episode that you were on, which was season 1, episode 5?
his name was RJ. He had a finger protector for when you're chopping foods. And his was, of course, a much lower priced item. I can't remember what it was, how much it sold for. I don't remember. But he won, and I was really glad that he won because honestly, like I say, it was never really about winning the show. That just wasn't a huge deal to me. To me, the biggest deal was getting the exposure and letting people know that the product was out there. So
Absolutely.
He did a great pitch, and he won. So it is what it is. It never fazed me. So I was just happy to have that opportunity because it was great exposure.
Right, absolutely. And what was it like meeting Joy? Did you get to have your picture taken with her?
I did.
She seems. I loved her. I loved her movie, and I love what she's done. Did she seem like? She seems like such a nice woman.
She was very down to earth. She was. If I was going after anybody, it would have been her. Going on the show, it would have been her. She's very down to earth. We did take some photos afterward, and she showed great interest in the product. I mean, she said right there on national TV, I don't know if you watched that episode, but she said right there, and I've never heard her say it before. She said, "Your trapdoor colander is your miracle mop," and her miracle mop made her a lot of money. And
that's huge.
It's huge. It is a huge endorsement. And so for me, that is the most awesome part of it is just that endorsement and knowing that someone like her found my product to be that good, so that was really good for me. And
absolutely.
Somewhere right in there, someone did a interview with Scott Evans after my show had aired. He's the host on the show.
Right.
And they were interviewing him, and it's crazy because as they were interviewing him and they asked him for memorable moments, he was telling them, there was this colander. I mean, there was this colander, and it opened from the bottom like why hadn't we thought of this before? So for it to be memorable to them was it was awesome. I enjoyed that. I love that part of it. The fact that it is a memorable product. Not only is it a great product to use, but it's very memorable once you see it.
Right. That's a huge compliment. And I'm sure when you were beaming and every time you're having a day that's not going so great or should I keep going moments, you keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah,
That's your that's your motivation, right?
if I could show you the smile on my face.
I'm sure. I'm sure. That's a great story. That's a really, really good story. It's a feel good story. So Lisa, what outcomes, what positive things besides the awareness, did any deals come out of you being on the show? Did you get approached by any other companies or opportunities?
Discussions have been brought to me from other people, other companies. I have had multiple offers for licensing. I just don't know if that's the direction that I want to take right now. I think that I am just really beginning to um, get traction with this product on my own. So I really want to try this on my own. I do know that licensing options are out there, but for now, because I've licensed products in the past. And so for me, this was my first time to manufacture a product. So for me, the fact that I was very wise, there are a lot of scams out there. And so the fact that I was very wise, used my money wisely, and was able to manufacture this product on my own, no backer. I don't have, anyone, I don't have an investor. I don't have credit card debt. I did this on my own.
Good
And
for you.
so for me, that is huge. And so with that being said, I want to continue manufacturing for a while.
So you're not, you and your husband are not, I know you own the company, you're not out seeking investors at this point.
Absolutely not.
Good for you.
I don't need one.
That's great. That's great. That's amazing. And most entrepreneurs and inventors do need investors at some point in order to grow. I mean, it's just what happens.
It is very difficult, and it is even more difficult right now. And I have a good friend of mine, Chris, and I, who are working together on helping with some of the scams that are out there, because what's happening to a lot of inventors is they're finding themselves thousands and thousands of dollars in debt to these companies that are really not giving them anything in return. And so unfortunately, they've spent the mint of their money already on people, companies that really haven't helped them. So we're trying to weed out the bad and get good concrete list of the good so that we can help other inventors to be successful without having, because I had mentors that helped me along. When I tell you I have some amazing people backing me. I absolutely have some amazing people backing me, telling me, don't go this way, don't go that way. And so that's what inventors need. They need good, honest people to back them and help them and to know which direction to go and which not to go, because sometimes that direction over there leaves you financially in ruins. I see it every day.
Right. And it is challenging when you are a solo entrepreneur, solopreneur like I am, when you're trying to make decisions every day and there isn't a board, there's nobody to consult except me, myself, and I. And you know, it's very challenging because you don't know what to do most of the time. You just trust your faith, your instinct, and you just think, well, this is what I feel is the right thing to do. But no, it's challenging for any entrepreneur, any inventor. So
It
it's
is.
yeah, it's great that you've had mentors that you trust, and I guess if you do make a wrong path, any inventor or entrepreneur, you pivot fast and you get out of it as fast as you can, and you learn from mistakes. That's all we can do as entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Continue to figure it out. Well, it sounds like, Lisa, you are on track for a very successful company and what you've done. And what's the name of your company in the website? Can you spell it out for all of us again, real slow so people can go and order if they want?
It is called the Trapdoor Colander. That's TRAPDOORCOLANDER.com.
Okay. And what colors do you have? I keep showing the red one, but I know you've got more than red.
I do. I have aqua sky. You have the
Beautiful.
red.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have gray, a charcoal gray, which is over there, but I do have a charcoal gray.
Nice. And what's your number one seller? Flavor, I mean, color-wise. I'm always thinking flavor because of my company.
It's the Luvafoodie thing.
Yeah, the red one.
I would say it is a really close between all three of them. It's really close. But if I had to say one over the other, I would say the aqua and the red might be just a little ahead of the gray.
Yeah. I think kitchen right now, it's so much fun. A lot of people have white kitchens or, bland. So for the utensils and the, houseware, it's fun to have a colored item.
It is. It is.
Yes.
And I love the red one. So
I love the red. And do you have a YouTube channel?
I actually have, I am working on setting up my YouTube channel. It is there, but most of those videos are about helping inventors because it's something that I've been doing for so long. And so a lot of those videos are about helping inventors. I do have several videos of the colander being used, of course.
You do? Okay. I was going to say that's a great thing for you to do. And you're on Instagram, Twitter?
Yes, all of that.
So your company, so somebody can follow you on social media.
Yes, they can find me either by Modern Chaos Designs, but usually it's under the Trapdoor Colander.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to invite everybody who's watching to, first of all, go to your website and order one, either for themselves or for a gift. And I think it would make a really interesting gift for anyone, college kids, people that are getting married, Mother's Day, Father's Day. I'm excited to try it tonight. I just got it last week and I haven't had a chance yet. And it's been a pleasure, Lisa, to have you on the show and have you share your story. Is there anything else I'm missing or you'd like to share with our listeners and our viewers and our LinkedIn Live followers?
The only thing that I always share, and I share this with all inventors, is because I am very passionate about this industry. I actually love this industry. And so the only thing that I ever pass along, and it's usually my final thing that I have to say, is happy inventing, because it's a lot of fun, but you have to be wise financially.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Yes. And it sounds like your husband is pretty wise too, and he helped you. And so you were lucky to have that partner in crime too, to, a lot of, you saved some money. Pardon me?
He's my best friend.
He's your best friend, yes. That's very nice. Well, I'm excited to see down the road what other things you may come out with. Like you said, you've got other ideas, so I'm sure they're just as interesting, and you will be fun to see, follow and see what happens to you in the next few months. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of big things.
Definitely follow, because within time I'll have a line of trapdoor products, and they're going to be amazing.
I can't wait. Yes. I can't wait. Thank you, everybody, for following us today on Luvafoodie LinkedIn Live. Join us next week when I'll have a very special guest. And we like it that you follow us. Hopefully you're learning something every week and you're enjoying our show. I'm enjoying it. And I love finding interesting people, inspiring people, encouraging people, and entrepreneurs and inventors are always one of my favorite guests. So thank you, everybody. Have a great week and a happy Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.